Mike, welcome to the show. We appreciate PointCentral's sponsorship here in the multifamily track. If you were talking to a multifamily builder who never heard of PointCentral before, how would you introduce your company and what you do?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, and specifically with you. PointCentral is a smart property technology platform that provides a unified solution for property owners, property operators, and facilitates technology for those who live, work, and of course own assets. So for builders specifically, they're typically looking at, what type of technology should we be providing, again, for the asset, for the owner, for those who live and work in these spaces. We're very focused on delivering a comprehensive, unified technology stack that zeroes in on access, video, in-unit smart home technology, but also, if we zoom out a little bit, providing tech that's not only provides safety and security for residents and staff, but also the assurance for the owners that the technology will provide a good return on their investment in the tech, and to ensure that the buildings are mitigating risks that happen in day-to-day, asset management, water leaks, energy deficiencies. We can make things more efficient, more safe, more protected.
So taking all of these IoT devices that can be sensors both in the home and then throughout the property, and having an umbrella so that property managers can see that data, to your point, making sure they're getting a return on that investment, and turn that data into intelligence that's actionable for them to be able to move forward.
Absolutely. These devices create so much data. I think it's important to evaluate what's actionable and what is prescriptive, even preventative, so we can take some of our operating models, which have historically been reactive. Now we're leveraging technology to ensure more of a preventative maintenance operating model.
And I think that importance you said is that with so many different technologies that are evolving, they're delivering value in the multifamily space. You're putting them under an umbrella where they can all feed up and they're integrated, so you're not having to manage them through different dashboards, different apps. It's all centralized.
It's a great point. We want to deliver a unified technology platform, and quite frankly, through a trusted, proven provider. PointCentral is a subsidiary of Alarm.com. We've been at it for 13 years on the PointCentral side, Alarm.com more than 25 years. So we look at the kind of the zoomed out landscape, and there's been a lot of technology that's entered the space, and sometimes that technology comes and goes. We used to have a slide of the IoT graveyard, and unfortunately, there's a number of
there's a lot of tombstones there.
Exactly right. So for us, we talked about this in another session. Where what is the industry craving? I think they're craving some certainty on providers that can deliver this technology, not just for today, but be able to service it tomorrow.
Yes, I'm an early adopter for my home, and you open up my smart home folder on my phone, and there's 15 different apps. But if you're a multifamily provider like you don't want to do that. You don't want to be experimenting. You want to have technology that is going to work, that you have a trusted partner. So that makes a lot of sense. You're here at the show. What are some of the things that are new or evolving in your feature set that you're really pushing out there to the attendees this year?
We want to continue to reinforce the messaging around reliability and stability. And obviously that comes from the technology, and it comes from what we're doing at PointCentral and what our parent company, Alarm.com, is doing. But we're also, as we look at the landscape, we're seeing more demand for security and safety. And for us, we do have conversations about, what is smart technology? Because I think everyone would define smart as different. And one of the things to try to simplify it is to say, if it's not simple, it's not smart. We also like to take that a step further and say, what type of safety and security and peace of mind is the technology delivering for all of the stakeholders? So, as we're here, we're really talking about safety tech and not just smart tech and not just security tech. We really think that's sort of kind of a shared ethos, if you will. And so when we look at safety, we look at resident and staff safety, and safety for a building or a build to rent community. What does that look like? That's various things. That could be a video doorbell to see who's coming and going out of a build to rent property. That could be a safety button, which, in a student housing environment is wildly popular for students and their parents who are often maybe paying the expenses of student life, to ensure that if a student, their child, feels unsafe, coming home or walking, at a dark spot on campus, that they can hit a safety button and have, a live safety operator on the call with them until they get to a safe space. Or if the unthinkable were to happen, that there's now a location of where the incident took place. The technology, if we zoom out, has really evolved into not just the in-unit tech of the lock and the thermostat and the water sensors, which are absolutely table stakes and very important and are certainly driving value for operators and shareholders. But now we look at, how do we as housing providers and we as stewards of the technology deliver safety and security for all stakeholders?
As a father of two daughters in college, I can definitely appreciate that. There's a lot of talk today about artificial intelligence and how that's really transforming a lot of different industries. How is AI influencing your solution?
Sure. For us, we have video solutions that have AI tech built into them. So, an example we have is AI video, in which, we will put an Alarm.com camera in a strategic place, and that could be outside the waste facility, where sometimes people will dump sofas or who knows into space that's costly, or an operator is trying to understand traffic patterns or mitigate security risks or threats in shared spaces or common areas. So what the AI camera will do is detect, based on a perimeter that's established, when somebody enters that perimeter. That image, of course, is captured via video, but there's also the AI model will speak directly to that kind of bad actor, if you will, and say, "Excuse me, you in blue blazer, you're in violation of this space. The police are on their way." So you can actually prescribe what that person will say. You could even prescribe the type of tone and voice in which that AI model speaks to that bad actor, as a deterrent. And that's mitigating risk at the property. It's providing more peace of mind for staff, security, and just kind of changing the security and safety model at our locations.
So at the perimeter, you could have a gruff voice saying, "Hey, you don't belong here," or you could have in the pool area, they're like, "Oh, the pool is closed at this time." That type of
Exactly. You don't want that threatening voice at the pool area, but if it's something that is dangerous, if you will, you can certainly change the tone of the voice.
And those specifics that it makes the individual feel like it's a live operator, and there's the urgency there. Terrific. What is the one thing that you are most looking forward to in your roadmap?
There's no one here from product that'll tackle me if I say anything. But it's funny.
We can vision cast here. We're not promising dates or anything like that.
It's what we just had a conversation on an earlier panel about kind of what is next, and I think I probably gave a boring answer. I think when we think about future proofing, we think about the next gadget, and for me, it's really as adoption grows. I think our audience and our stakeholders are looking for clarity in who can deliver the service, who can guide them through not just the buying process, but the implementation process and the post-implementation process, where the service models really mean something. There's a lot of turnover in some apartment communities. So when the tech is deployed, there's an investment made there, and the return on the investment is certainly important. But the adoption and the utilization of the tech at the user level is incredibly important as well. We don't want to see folks invest but not use. So I think it's really clarity in the space of who can deliver the tech again, and not just deliver it today, but service it tomorrow in a way that continues to drive value for the owner, operator, and those who live and work in those spaces.
Can you talk a little bit about builder support that you provide with new partners? Is there going into this for the first time, may not really know what they don't know? How does PointCentral kind of walk them through that implementation process?
We really like to site survey any specific location that's being considered for an install. But what we've found is that the tech is still, I don't think it's in the early stages, but I'll use a baseball term. I think it's in the third or fourth inning. So we're not in the ninth and we're not in the first, but we're early enough to where owners and operators sometimes need just a little bit more guidance on how to buy and how to implement. And, I think this is one of those rare technologies that, it doesn't just touch the building, the staff, and the residents, but in that buying process, which I'd say is more of like a guiding process, operations, marketing, facilities, finance, technology, all those departments are going to be impacted by this tech. So it's really making sure for us as stewards of the technology and trying to ensure that this has long-term partnership success is bringing those stakeholders into the room and maybe asking some questions that maybe they haven't thought about or considered, and just making sure that we lay out a nice sort of partnership footprint for how this is going to impact different pockets of the business, and to provide clarity on when this tech is delivered, here are some of the things that you can think about. And certainly the benefits are we want to shine a bright light on benefits. But we also want to make sure that there's a strategy in place to ensure that it's successful when it's installed.
Well, fantastic. If you have an opportunity to, if you have a need within your organization, make sure you consider PointCentral as a potential partner. Again, thanks for your sponsorship of the track, and thanks for supporting the show.
Thanks for having us.